Hi, my name's Renee Hoos, and I own Spire Mortgage Team. Over my 10 years as a commodity trader, my 20 years as a real estate investor, and my 8 years as a mortgage broker, I have had the absolute privilege of meeting some powerhouses that are transacting in real estate in Western Canada. Okay, guys, I'm so excited today. I have Carmen De Luca, Director of Sales for Trico Homes with me. Thanks so much for being here.
Renee, thanks for having me.
Yes.
Such an honor.
I'm so excited.
It's my first podcast.
Oh my God. I'm so glad it's us. What a treat. What I wanted to start with today was I think we should share a little bit about how we started working together because it's a fun story for me. It's a win for sure in my business, but I actually learned a lot from not getting to work with Carmen the very first time I emailed her. Okay. So how long ago do you think it was?
Oh my gosh, a year and a half ago?
Maybe a year and a half, yeah. And I'm sort of persistent, as you might assume, if you know anything about me.
Yeah, strong follow-up. Very strong.
But what's crazy is she obviously, a million people reach out to her, like, good job, mortgage brokers. Good job. Yes. You know, you're reaching out. That's amazing. That's what we want to be doing all the time. And so she was honest with me. She was like, listen, I get a lot of these emails and now's not the time. You know, I think that in our business, when someone says no, you didn't say no, like, I'm deleting you and I'm going to call the police if you ever reach out again.
I was like, Renee, I can't meet with every single mortgage broker that sends me an email. Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I look back after we reconnected later and I looked at our email span chain and I was like, oh my goodness, Carmen, that was like quite direct. I was so full capacity at the time and had so many mortgage specialists and brokers and lenders reaching out that I like literally didn't have the time of day to meet with every one of them. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I can't.
And it was just super honest. It wasn't, you know, there was nothing rude or it was just honest. Like, hey, I don't have capacity for this right now. And obviously, like in the moment, I was like, okay, swing and a miss, Hoos, you know, try again. But I left her on my follow-up and, you know, just gently followed up.
And I remember even saying that. You were like, I'm going to add you, no problem. I'm going to add you to my newsletter. You know, when time allows, I'd love to connect with you. And that was what you did. You added me to your newsletter. I've read every newsletter that you've ever sent me. The most impactful one was there's been many, but I remember just reading one and I was like, oh my gosh, she just gets it. Like she gets it. And I reached out to you and I don't even remember what I said. I was like, we connected a little while ago, but I didn't have capacity to meet with you. I'd love to meet with you. Can we go for lunch? Yeah. We went for lunch.
Oh yeah. It was unbelievable. And it was so interesting to me because it was a lesson in timing. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're in sales, you can feel like disappointed that someone didn't say yes in that moment. But like, who are you to know what someone else's timing is? And I think good salespeople realize that if their follow-up is consistent, you might match their timing eventually. But if you're not following up, you might miss their timing completely.
100%.
And so it was just one of those lessons to me where I was like, my gosh, that follow-up, which can be exhausting because there is work in follow-up, right? There's a lot of work in that. It can be exhausting. I was like, my goodness, I'm so glad I didn't just, you know, table flip and forget it in that moment.
Yes.
It was, I committed to my process and here we are, right?
And it was such a reminder to me also, everything that you said, but the follow-up and just how follow-up in every market is so important. And I was full capacity then. And then, you know, everything balances and stabilizes. And we're in need of an incredible mortgage specialist and team right now. And your letters keep popping up. And I think that everything happens for a reason. So I think the timing was perfect. And I'm really grateful that we found each other. It was a little bit later, but yes, thank you, Renee.
Yeah, thank you.
For your follow-up.
So good. I hope that story hits for you guys because honestly, anyone watching this or listening to this, there's a huge lesson in that. Yes. And I just, I'm really excited to share that. And so the next thing I want to talk about, and like, this is where this podcast came from. My hair is standing on end, just like talking about this. So, you know, we went for lunch and Carmen said to me, we're not in the DocuSign era anymore. And I was like, oh my God, that was like a frying pan to the face. I'm like, we could write a book on that. So talk to me about what that means.
So when I referenced the DocuSign era, how it kind of came about was I was talking to my boss, Mike Brown, and we were referencing this market that we're in and just how intense it is. And it's another level I've never seen before. And a lot of it was because there were so many people moving here from out of province. And they were doing that. They were buying homes without even coming here. So everything was being done over DocuSign. And it was a lot of order taking, and it's not a normal way to buy or sell a home. With that, there is still so much work that goes into it. The team is working at such a different level because you're just trying to control the volume. And so it brought such a different set of tools that the sales team really had to use and to adapt. But a lot of it was through DocuSign. And I never got to sell in that era. I always sold in a very balanced market, kind of similar to what we're seeing today. But it was just very interesting having buyers from out of province purchasing homes that they'd never walked through before. Everything was being done over DocuSign. Of course, we're meeting that buyer over FaceTime or over Skype to confirm they are who they are and doing all of our appropriate requirements, but just buying homes off DocuSign. I never thought I'd see it.
Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah. And honestly, like it was the same in our business. I do a lot of DocuSign and not a lot of face-to-face with clients either, but it was like, hey, I've got a heartbeat and I need a mortgage. Like it was
just trying to control the volume.
Absolutely. Like just keeping the wheels on the bus, right?
Yes.
What a different market to transact in. Hey,
I look back. I look back now and I kind of laugh because we have moved into obviously a much more balanced, much more stable market in Calgary. This is the only market I ever sold homes in. This is my favorite market to sell homes in because we're getting back to the basics. We're getting back to figuring out why people are moving. The market over the last 3 years, like the DocuSign era, as I call it, it was almost, people had FOMO. People had like fear of missing out from buying homes. Like we saw a lot of that. People were kind of like panic buying. Everybody was buying homes. Now we're getting back to, you know, that family that's coming into the show home. We're doing our normal welcome, but we're spending a lot of time in discovery and figuring out their urgency, their income, what the needs, what the wants are. Like, why are they wanting to move? Are they going to spend, you know, more time in this home? It has been a lot of just kind of resetting expectations with sales in this more balanced market versus the DocuSign era.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting. And you know, it's interesting. I was at a Trico event on Saturday.
Thank you for working that.
And
Sam just raved about you. He's like, Renee was such an incredible host, Carmen. She worked the room with me. She worked the event. And I knew you would. So I was so grateful for that.
Oh, it's so fun. But one thing that was super interesting, Sam and I actually had an amazing conversation, and he was showing me how the plans change. Like, hey, listen, you know, we have a lot of families that want to live in this community. They're multi-generational families. We can add a bedroom on the main level. This is how the plans change for, you know, this sort of type of buyer in this community. And it was really interesting to me knowing that we had this podcast coming up to have that conversation with him. And so you could see, you know, just threads of service, you know, showing up again. And I think that's amazing. Like, I think as much as, listen, like we all love pumping volume through, like we're salespeople, most of us work for commissions. Like, let's be honest, that's nice. But there is a piece of like, it's really fun to work through that with a buyer and understand what that family needs, right?
It's the best. I always, I tell people that working in the show home, getting to sell homes, a lot of your friends and family never understand really what you do. But it's a dream job and it's the best. And you're in a show home. And when you have a family that comes in, the trust and the relationship that you have to build to get that family to move forward, I think speaks so highly of the sales team. But you end up, you're in a year relationship, sometimes longer. I had homeowners, that I sold to that ended up at my wedding that I'm still friends with, that I have on social media. And my boss at the time would be like, quit adding your homeowners to social media. And I'm like, well, they're my friends as well because you spend so much time with them. You get to know them. You watch their families grow. When you do a really good job, you know, the next time they need a home a little bit bigger, they then come find you and purchase from you again.
Cool.
Yeah, it is Really cool. Sam Babanco, a huge shout out to him too. He's one of our area sales managers at Trico Homes. Hi, Sam. Sam and May, and they're an incredible example. They just have so much grit. They are relentlessly resourceful. They care so much about their homeowners. They have a big grand opening tomorrow in Huxley, so wishing them all the best. But I love that you got to spend some time with them.
No, it was awesome.
They're an incredible team.
So, okay, so talk to me about like, as a leader with a sales team that has to, you know, transact in this market. And probably some of these folks came into sales during the DocuSign era, right? Like, so they've actually not seen this market before. What would be sort of some of the top things you're teaching them to do or encouraging them to do to show up for their customers and build those relationships?
I actually have, I created the Carmen De Luca sales principles, and
I love this.
There's 7 of them. And just kind of going back. So when you're selling in the DocuSign era, I would like to say it was still incredibly hard. So many challenges because you're selling at such a high volume. There's so much capacity. You have to be so organized in what you do. But then when we're going to a more balanced, stable market, it definitely is a different set of tools that you're pulling from your toolbox. You have to have a ton of grit. You have to be relentlessly resourceful. You have to be optimistic. You can't be an asshole. You have to crave growth. You have to continuous learning is so important. And I can't remember the 7th one, but it'll come to me. But those are really, really important. In this time, in this market, I really encourage the team to do everything that they can to continuously better themselves as salespeople. If that's reading books, if that's taking courses, if that's listening to podcasts, it's so important to stay positive. There's the highest highs and the lowest lows in this industry. The salespeople that I have on the team at Trico, they can sell in both markets. So they can sell in the DocuSign era. They can sell in a balanced market. The balanced market, it takes longer. And you've got buyers that are shopping all the communities. They're shopping all of the competitors. So when you get them in front of you, we've really gone back to value selling, which is the best type of selling. But just ensuring that the team knows how to do that and that they're confident and that, you know, I'm always just trying to make sure that they're aware of everything that's going on right now in Canada, as well as in the province, as well as in Calgary, because they have to be able to speak with confidence when a buyer does bring up, you know, interest rates, or when a buyer brings up the tariffs or the potential recession and things like that. Being able to actually provide that guidance and that advice to the buyer confidently to get them to move forward is what we're working really hard on training the team on right now.
Do you feel like Trico is doing anything specifically to address some of the concerns that clients have right now about affordability, interest rates, economic instability? Like those are big objections we're hearing for sure on our side of the business. Like I'm scared and I don't want to do anything right now. Absolutely. So how are you addressing that?
So we partner with really incredible people. Renee and her team at Spire, especially on the mortgage side. In this market, it's so important that buyers, you know, before they even go and they decide that they're going to purchase a new home, you need to find out what you can afford. And you should be doing that kind of before you even go into a show home. If you haven't done that, it's not to worry. If you do go into a show home, we're always going to refer you to Renee. We're going to refer you to a referred mortgage specialist that can really give you an understanding of what you can afford. And a lot of people typically have no idea. Like the mortgage piece is so confusing. We're also working really hard with our trades and suppliers constantly, like weekly, on costs. In this market, we've really identified that you have to be the best price. You have to have the best offering. That's what is going to be able to capture the buyer. So just constantly providing that in all of our communities. And I think Trico does a really good job of that. The sales team piece is really important too. And so at Trico, the salesperson that sells your home, you're with that team, the entire build, all the way up to possession. That's something that is really passionate. It comes from the top. So Mike Brown, our president and CEO, he really wanted sales to be included throughout the entire process. So we turn the keys over. So you've got that team that has your back that's going to take care of you. And then we've got lots of really incredible programs. We've got the flexible down payment plan, which allows you to break up the deposit over the duration of the build. We've got a free list program where we've got preferred realtors that can sell your current home for you. Trico pays half of the commissions for that. We've got our preferred, of course, mortgage broker relationships. Does that highlight some of the things that we're doing?
Talk to me a little bit about the realtor program, like free list program. And so do you think in this market, clients are maybe listing their homes a little bit earlier than they were in the DocuSign era? I know we sort of, in my business, I've certainly seen a shift of, you know, clients always wanted to buy first because they were so scared they were going to be homeless.
They couldn't find a house.
Right? And now we're seeing a bit of a shift where maybe they want to sell first and understand their, you know, affordability a little bit better, what they actually have available for that deposit or down payment on the new home.
100%.
So are you guys finding clients are wanting to list a little bit earlier in the process?
Yes. And a lot of people right now are also doing exactly what you just said. So they're selling first. to ensure that they have a sale on their home. They know exactly what they can afford moving forward. The really cool thing is a lot of the people that are purchasing right now, the ones that are selling their homes, they have a lot of equity in their home. Yes. So they've done really well. It's really exciting to see that. And so they're excited to sell, to figure out how much they have to then move forward and build their dream home.
Yes, totally. I was just discussing the same thing with my team, and a lot of people actually have so much equity that they can refinance.
Yeah.
And so they don't even need to worry about selling. Yeah, keep it as a rental or worry about selling it after the fact.
Yeah.
So what we're finding is when, referrals are coming in, we're trying to say, okay, if you sold it, this is what it looks like, but if you didn't sell it, this is what it looks like. So we're trying to provide those double scenarios for people just so that they have that option.
And you're adding to their portfolio, you're adding to their investments, to their the big picture. It's a pretty cool thing.
Definitely. Yeah. And I do think, we're in a more balanced market. It is not so stressful to think about holding two properties. The market's moving a little bit slower, so you can make educated decisions, right? I feel like it's so nice to be back into this spot where you can have a bit more of a conversation with a client. It's not just like, oh my gosh, I need a mortgage in 2 days because there's 14 offers on this property.
Right.
And if you don't get this mortgage done immediately, we're all dead in the water, right?
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. Yes. Now it's like, let's have a think about it. Let's have a think about the best strategy for you to actually build your wealth in the long term, like sort of a holistic view, right?
I read something this week that really blew my mind. And so it was talking about how over the last 2 years, 200,000 people have moved to Alberta, like year after year. So we've had 400,000 people move to Alberta, a lot of them ending up in Calgary and surrounding areas. And I love talking about Calgary because it's such an incredible city. I think it was kind of a secret for a really long time.
Yeah.
And, Toronto and Vancouver, the other cities really were where most buyers thought they had to be. And then Calgary was discovered. And it's like, we've got an international airport. We're 45 minutes from the mountains. We can drive to the border. We have an incredibly investor-friendly government that enables us to have these rental properties. We have great sectors for jobs, oil and gas, tech, movie. There's so much that Calgary offers.
Yes.
And it's been so incredible to watch everybody around Canada really realize that. Yes. So I think that's also what keeps Calgary continuing to see this growth. And the home sales are still in demand.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think I looked at Calgary as kind of a stopping off point. Like I'm from Medicine Hat originally.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Calgary and I'm like, I'll move on.
Yeah.
And here I am, I'm 44. I left home when I was 17 and I haven't left. And it's because, Alberta really has been the promised land. And especially the last decade, my gosh, have we had opportunity here. And so, it's a cool market to be in, especially the folks that have been here have really had an opportunity to build something. Yeah. And so it's going to be cool to see what they do with it.
I agree.
Yeah. Let's move into, I want to talk a little bit more about sales. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So sales is emotional. And so as things start moving a little bit slower, I know I have moments where I look at my numbers and, they're not building like this, they're maybe building like this. And, I can get, they make the joke that I have this big white desk in my office upstairs. And so my team will be like, oh God, she's laying under the desk again, just like laid out, devastated that thing, we don't have 100 files on the go that morning.
Right.
And so talk to me about how you emotionally support and encourage your team as things slow down a little bit.
I love it. So I feel like this year has been a lot of just like resetting some expectations. We're getting back to the basics. We're celebrating every win that we can. We have an incredible team in the fact that we really support each other. We've got this WhatsApp chat that we all drop stuff in, and we're just, when we're all succeeding, it's the best. If one team is a little bit less in sales, and we rally really hard as a team. I think Trico is incredible in the fact that we're doing everything we can to really set each team member up. The sales teams, they're trained to kind of run their show homes as franchises. So what you get into it is definitely what you get out of it always. But we celebrate every win that we can. I joke with the team, you lying under the desk. So I'm always like, if sales are low or if we've got homeowners that are a little bit late closing on possessions and things of that nature, I always say I put 2 pounds on for like every late closing or every month that we don't hit budget. So I'm like, please help me.
Is it ice cream?
Yeah. I'm just like stress eating at night. But no, I think we provide a lot of support. We celebrate the wins. We have an owner and a president that they understand that we've gone into more of a balanced market.
Cool.
But then kind of rewinding to the DocuSign era, when you've got a team selling between 11 and 15 deals a month, that's once in a lifetime. That's not a normal market.
Yes.
So, just telling the team 3 to 5 a month, like that's incredible. And if you can maintain that, then that is to be celebrated.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I love that. And I think you're exactly right. It's all about expectations and getting back to basic. To kind of wrap things up, I do want to touch on something. So we're actually filming in a Trico townhome.
Our former show home.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I bought this property 4 years ago, I think, for Aspire. During COVID, it kind of went sideways when my husband was at home full time. I was ousted from the who's home mortgage office. Right. So anyway, I had to buy my own lady condo so that I had somewhere to come.
I love that for you. It is a nice spot that Renee and her team has here. Like it looks so good. It's so cool that that it's also just so full circle that we're back here filming this video in a former Trico show home. I also just love that so much.
Me too.
It was so cool walking in, and I've written deals, like not in this space, but in this space right above.
Yeah, so funny. Hey?
Pretty cool.
And so it's amazing. We've converted it into like a real a workspace. It's so in live work. It's a really cool project.
Yes.
This project, I was actually talking to Adam on the sales team that's selling in Wentworth Landing.
Yes.
And he was mentioning that he's had a lot of buyers from this project move up to Wentworth Landing. And so it's so interesting to me that you provide good service, and then as someone's family, their lifestyle changes, their family grows, they're like, hey, we loved working with this person. We love working with this builder. We want to move up with them.
I love that. Speaks so highly of Adam. He has a very strong referral base. We have a program. It's called the Trico Retention Program. Okay. And what that means is if you're in a current Trico home right now, when you purchase another Trico home, you'll get 1% off the total purchase price before GST. On the Wentworth Landing properties, that's quite a big discount. And then we will also help sell the current home. So we would sell this property for that family. But I would love to touch on the Wentworth Landing project that we've got going in. It's a master plan community. So Adam is in there right now. He's selling some beautiful 9 triple car garage lots.
Wow.
I think we've only got 3 left, but then there's so much more coming within that development. And it's one that Trico is extremely proud of. Wentworth Landing. So we've got condos coming over there. Wow. There's an entire estate line. There will be commercial. We're going to hopefully start pre-selling the condos. The building is called The Summit, and that will be late this year or early next year.
Very cool.
Yes.
I love that.
But I love the referral piece, and it also is very common. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I was just...
Because that salesperson's going to take care of you.
Yes.
And they're in like a different stage of life now and moving into a larger home because they've probably had some kids, they've gotten married, and now they need more space. So finding that salesperson that did such a good job the first time, thank you for touching on that, because I feel like that's what makes the Trico sales team so special. They're just incredibly good at the customer service level that they provide. Yeah. And it comes from the top. Wayne and Eleanor and Mike, they're very much about doing well by doing good. That's our motto. And so that's top down in everything that we do.
Cool. I love that. Doing well by doing good. I love that. Yeah. I think, I was just at a conference and I was reflecting as I was flying home, what was my biggest takeaway? And the biggest takeaway that I had was that I think that in sales, we can often get focused on the next sale, the next sale, the next sale. Because that's sort of our mandate, right?
Yeah.
Increase numbers. But sometimes I think that in sales, what we forget is that if you take really, really good care of the people in your database, even the people that you've previously worked with, if you remember how precious those relationships were to you and make those clients feel like that too, remind them how important they are to you. You're really creating raving fans.
Yes.
And
referrals.
Yeah. And I think it's so important in this business. I think, in this DocuSign era, probably a lot of us forgot that we have databases of people that have supported our business for a long time. Yeah. And probably all of us could open up that Rolodex and just remember to call some of those folks and say, hey, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for supporting me all these years. How are you?
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Did you survive the DocuSign era?
Yeah.
How are you? How many properties did you purchase? Or checking in and Yes, back to the basics.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right. Yes. And so, anyway, I'm so grateful that you joined me today. I'm just so grateful for your time.
Such an honor. Thank you for making my first podcast such a great one.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions about Trico Homes, you know where to find Trico Homes, tricohomes.com. All their communities are listed there. They got lots of cool stuff going on in the city.